The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Careers with Sara on Armed Radio on Wednesday, August 22nd. It is 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and today I'm going to talk about a topic that will really interest you. It's about landing that promotion. If you are a strong employee, you know that you need to do at least meet or exceed expectations to earn a periodic raise. But what if you want to go further than that and prove you are worth keeping around for good and possibly even promoting to a higher paying position? The path may not be spelled out for you, so you are going to have to take some proactive steps before you approach your boss for a performance-based pay bump. Now, there are 10 entrepreneurs share stories of the last raise or promotion they gave to an employee and why that person's achievements commanded their attention. So the first thing, you need to clearly outline how you will rise to the occasion. And one entrepreneur says, one of our recent promotions came from a young lady who proactively scheduled a meeting with us outside our normal review schedule and outlined exactly why she thought she was worth 20% more than she was being paid. She admitted that she had a number of things to work on, had a plan to get better at them, and was honest. She got the promotion that afternoon. Now, another employee, a CEO, says, establishing yourself as a leader. The last person I promoted established himself as someone the rest of the team could go to with issues or concerns. Carving out a responsible leadership role on his own on a daily basis earned him a promotion. This allowed for a natural promotion even before the title and raise in a salary had been proceeded. Another advice from HR executive is help others grow. And that's what she says. We are often quick to promote people who do things we don't expect in a positive way. Taking ownership of your position and wanting to see everyone around you succeed just as much as you do is important. When employees do more than what's expected to lift the company, both in terms of driving revenue and building the culture, we want to keep them around and empower them to continue to help us grow. Another advice that HR executive says is step up when you don't have to. We recently fired a production manager in our company. Our newer and less seasoned production manager was then faced with taking on the load of that employee as well as his own. He stepped up and took on the task. Not only did he do it well, he did it better than the previous employee, and he expected nothing in return. This stepping up promoted him to senior production manager. The next advice is do your boss's job. This is one of the HR executive says, I started my career as a very happy consultant with Deloitte. There, to be promoted, you need to do your boss job. In practice, a senior consultant needs to sell clients' work before she can become a manager. A job with the explicit expectation of sales. At Modify, our junior designer started to take on client work and deliver sales. Before anyone asked, the promotion decision was easy. Now, the next advice is make your teammates better. And this is what another HR executive says. When we saw that one person made the rest of her team more productive, and took initiative to train and motivate others. We knew that she should be a great leader. The most important characteristics of a leader is her ability to train, motivate, and improve the team. So this is the three skills: ability to train, motivate, and improve the team. This is what makes you promoted. The next advice is demonstrate an exceptional work ethic. As the company continues to grow, we've had several recent promotions of exceptional employees. These individuals had an outstanding work ethic. They were true leaders who shared a great passion for the company and our impact on the industry. These individuals deserve the recognition, and I am confident that the company will continue to flourish as a result of their promotions. All of these advice are from HR executives. Different types, not the same ones. Next advice is dominate the sales process. When someone stands out and is constantly putting in the extra work, going the extra mile to define him or herself as a leader in a particular department, that earns a promotion or elevated title. My recently promoted employee absolutely dominated the sales process and never stopped. They stayed late, asked questions, wanted to learn, and were willing to teach others. They earned a promotion within a year. Okay, the key words: stayed late, asked questions, wanted to learn, and were willing to teach others. The next advice is show you're ready for the title and the accountability. One time I gave an officer in our company a more prestigious title so I could hold the person to a higher standard by posing questions such as, what would a leader of your position choose to do in this situation? This person showed a readiness to take on more responsibility but needed help to take the next step and meet higher expectations. The next advice is do the job you want before you get it. I recently promoted someone to a sales management position because he showed initiative and was already doing many of the aspects of the job. He took on the role of mentor and coach and was doing extra work without holding a manager's title. Because he took on the responsibility without being asked to and proved that he was capable of the job, it was no-brainer to hire him for the position. These 10 tips that give you insight of what others have done to promote, what tricked them to promote an employee. Take on this advice. If I am saying it too fast and within those 7 minutes you felt that it was too fast for you to take a pen and a paper, every time you're on my show, grab a pen and a paper and start writing some tips. This show it's going to be recorded and it's going to be posted on my Facebook page, Let's Talk Careers with Sarah, so you can record it and listen to it 100 of times, so that way you're not losing anything out. Now I want to continue. You're probably feeling stuck, and I believe you're a top performer and you've got the numbers and praise to back it up. But why are you not getting that promotion? So that you desperately want and deserve, right? And unfortunately, this happens all too often at companies both big and small. The good news, by being proactive with your boss and putting together a plan, you absolutely have the power to make a change. If you are feeling ready to move up but stuck at your current level, I'm going to give you more simple steps you can take to get the promotion track. So let's continue with the steps. Setting the foundation. Your first step is making sure your boss your boss knows you want a promotion. Very basic, very simple. You need to let them know that you want that promotion. Otherwise, they will never figure that out. They are too busy doing other things. Now, it may sound simple, but many people don't do this. They look to their managers to bring the topic up instead. And if you have the world's best boss, then maybe he or she will, but usually it's don't ask, don't get. There is nothing to be afraid or intimidated or think in your brain, like we said in my previous show last week, that your brain tells you, there's an inner voice that tells you not to do it. That doesn't let you to succeed and makes you stuck in a place that you are not really happy with. So just get out there and go ask for that promotion. If you see somebody is being like laid off, fired, or being resigned, and you see the position is available, go ahead and ask that boss and say, can I take that position? Do you feel I'm ready for that position? You need to ask. So ask your boss for some time to discuss your career, using this language without going so far as to spell out that you want a promotion will ensure that he or she isn't caught off guard. No one likes feeling unprepared. I will give you a scenario. At one point, I was having an assistant manager, and that assistant decided that he wants to resign. But there was somebody else below that assistant that wanted the position, and I didn't know. And he didn't have the skills that I was looking for. So I went to the general manager and asked for an assistant to be replaced. By the time they found somebody, and that employee saw that they already hired somebody, he got really upset at me and said, why didn't you give me the position? And I was like, you didn't tell me you wanted the position, first of all. Second of all, you didn't show any leadership skills. That employee was not really following my instructions, was not really doing as I asked. He did everything reluctantly, and I just didn't understand why he wanted the promotion when he actually didn't want to do the job. So I said, you weren't fit for the job. Let's wait, prove yourself that you can do it, and then maybe there is a possibility to give you that title. He got really upset. But if you are in the same position and you believe, even though the position is not available, still show those skills that the assistant manager can do or your manager can do. Show this position and really be communicative. Have an open conversation about this, about your career path, even though the position is not available yet. But when it comes, you don't know if that employee, if that assistant manager is going to resign, because that resignation letter goes to the manager, not to you. So that way you don't know if it's going to happen. Perhaps that employee, that assistant manager has told in advance, maybe about 3 months in advance, saying, listen, in the summer I'm not going to be here. I'm moving to my country, whatever, I'm not going to spread it out to all my employees and say what's going on. It's confidential information. So regardless of if there is a position available or not, discuss that you are willing to get promoted, what skills you need to get in order to get promoted. The next thing is the positioning. So once you sit down with your manager, prepare to lead the conversation, especially since you are the one who asked for the meeting, right? But don't go in saying, I like a promotion. Your manager will feel put on the spot and is more likely to respond negatively. I always suggest that you need to write down a list of why you need the promotion. Write down all the good lists that you need to do, right? So once you have the list ready, then you start the conversation by showing appreciation for your current job and boss. A little flattery never hurts anyone, right? Plus, the last thing you want to do is to come across as an unappreciative or entitled. Explain that you want to have a long-term career at the organization, but your career progression is really important to you, and that you would like some input on your future. There's an important yet subtle hint in here for your boss. No long-term prospect? Sayonara. While you want to be seen as a loyal and committed employee, it's also not a bad thing for your manager to worry about you as a flight risk once you have a strong track record at the company. Now, I remember in some other ways, in a different company, I wanted a director position, and I would ask the director's manager, usually, what is it that I need in order for me to become a director? I would speak with the director also, but I would also want to see what the above manager will say. And I had an open conversation with her, and I've discussed about my goals in my career, and she would tell me, Sarah, you need to have these qualifications. So I had to go back to school and earn that credit and earn that degree, whatever that is. And I did it. So the director already resigned, and there were another director was working, and again she resigned after a couple of years, and then the position was open for me. So this works when you have an open conversation. Then the next thing, you say something along the lines of, I'm not sure I've shared this before, but I'd really like to make manager level, and I feel I'm more or less ready for the challenge. I'd love to hear from you what skills I'd have to gain and what my performance would have to look like for that to happen. This doesn't have to be only in a meeting. You can say it in the email. A lot of managers are very busy. They don't have time for meetings, and they always read their emails. So email from you will be great. You can even follow up and find out if they had received the email, if they had read the email, if they didn't respond to you. This will show that you are really serious about the position. If you just write an email about this promotion and you are not following up, they just forget about it. It's not their understanding that you are actually serious about it. For some, I also suggest to go to HR and write email, and the HR will actually forward it to the right director, to the right manager, to the right department, because they know where the position is available. If you are working in a hotel and the hotel has chains, right? It's like a franchise hotel. So when you share to the HR your email and concerns about you are looking for a promotion, they will know in which location, in which department they need to fill in the position. And they need recommendations from your supervisor. And through that, they will make an educated guess and have the right credentials of why, to say, okay, this person is actually will fit for that position. He's okay with the schedule, he's okay with the hours, he's showing above and beyond, and that's exactly what the manager should do. The next thing is listening. It may sound obvious, but your next step is to listen carefully. You've just made it as easy as possible for your manager to give you really helpful feedback, something that a lot of people find difficult to give. So pay attention to the specifics of what he or she is saying. For example, even if you think you are nailing your sales goals, if your manager says he or she would like to see more from you, that's something you need to take a note of. Also, make sure you read between the lines. You might want to consider spending a bit more time on your relationships with the senior managers. Likely means to the senior team either doesn't know you well enough to support your promotion, or that you have some work to do to win someone over. If you're not sure what piece of feedback means, ask follow-up questions to clarify, and make sure you are on the same page. Finally, take notes and do it visibly. You need to keep a good record of what was said so that you can follow up. When you come with the notes and a pen and a paper and you write it all down while they give you feedback, they see you are serious. And when all is said and done, thank your manager for the feedback and the discussion, and mention you will set something up in a few months so that you can review your progress together. It's a lot easier to set this follow-up meeting when your boss already knows to expect it. And this, I will say that a lot of managers see that even though you have the credentials, you have the qualifications, and they still don't like you, they are not going to hire you. They would rather hire somebody, not hire you, I meant to say promote you. They would rather have somebody hired from the outside or somebody promote within, even though doesn't have the same qualifications and credentials, but they like the person regardless. They have the right personality, the right charisma, the right attitude. So you really have to step up your game and have more of that personality so they can like you more. Now that you know exactly what getting promoted is going to take, map out at least 2-3 actions you can pursue in the coming months that you know would make a difference to your boss. Whether that's taking a management class to boost your leadership skills or spending more time building relationships with other departments, make sure that your activities are visible and that your manager notices. Depending on your boss, you may even feel comfortable sending him or her periodic notes saying, I've been making a big effort to increase our marketing like you mentioned. Here's a quick update on a few new strategies I've put in place. This is just an example for the marketing department. Now is also the time to reflect on who else has your back at work. Promotions often require a number of stakeholders to vouch for you. So put some extra effort into maintaining or rebuilding or building these relationships. Finally, do some self-reflection. Are you already acting and delivering as if you are at the next level? When you are promoted, will your colleagues be surprised, or will they be surprised it took so long? To get to the next grade, you often have to perform, act, and even dress accordingly. Sometimes only then does the promotion follow. Now, managers usually take into consideration not on their own decisions. They are influenced by others. Employees come and really talk about you, and they need to talk good about you, not bad. They need to talk good about you. I've seen that they promoted somebody and employees were saying bad about that person, and that person got demoted. So you want to be a good team leader with all the people that you work around with, your customers, your colleagues, the assistant manager, the manager, everybody. And then following up. Once you've been able to address the areas of feedback your manager has for you, schedule a follow-up meeting. Bring out your notes, again leading the conversation, and remind your manager of the new areas you discussed. Be prepared to outline the actions you've taken and ask for feedback in terms of how you're progressing against your goals. It may take more than one follow-up meeting, but the persistence will pay off. One of my previous team members took a similar approach to what I've outlined here, asking for a meeting, letting me know she was ready to get ahead, and taking active steps to implement my feedback. While she wasn't quite ready for a promotion when we first had the conversation, she showed me she had what it took to move to the next level, and her promotion followed shortly afterward. Knowing that she wanted and expected to get promoted also put that a bit of pressure on me as her manager to make sure I did the right thing and didn't let her walk out the door. Having these conversations isn't always easy, but if you want that promotion, it's crucial to take these steps. Remember, you are in charge of your career, and if your job isn't panning out as you would like, it's up to you to take actions. Now, I want to share with you what Linda Rayner has to say about why you are not getting promoted and how to get a promotion. So bear with me.
So why is it that other people around you are getting promoted and you're not? Well, part of it has to do with how you're managing your personal brand. I talk about personal branding almost all the time, and when I talk about personal branding, what I mean is it's not something that you develop on the outside as if it's a costume that you could wear. That's not a personal brand. A personal brand is you knowing who you are, what you're capable of, and the value that you bring, no matter what situation, no matter what organization you work in. So that's part of it, is how you're managing your personal brand. And on top of that, it's also because you probably have a misconception about how to get promoted. And that misconception is that you think that working harder equals promotion. And I can tell you that that's not the case. The reason why you probably think that if I just work harder, it means that for sure I'm going to be guaranteed a promotion. I mean, working hard, don't get me wrong, that's absolutely necessary for you to get anywhere in life. You definitely have to put in that sweat equity, you have to put in that effort to move forward and go wherever it is that you want to go. But at the same time, it's not the only thing. And so you probably got the idea that if I just work hard, I'll get that promotion. You probably got that from back in school, growing up. As long as we studied hard, we studied for our exams, we studied everything that we needed to know, and as soon as we wrote the exam, if we got a really good mark, that meant that our efforts paid off. A lot of the time, that's sort of the thinking that people carry forward. They think that, well, I got myself through school through just working hard. Why can't I get myself up to the next level in my career by also just working hard? Well, you've probably already discovered that it doesn't work. Just working hard alone, putting your head down and getting your work done and being solely focused on that is not enough to get you to that next level, unfortunately. There's a lot of other qualities that you need to start to really develop within yourself if you really feel that you want to move up in your career. And a lot of it may not have been taught to you in school, but now that you're out in the work world, it's time to really take notice of those areas that need improvement, and we're going to start talking through them. So let's just make things a little clear. Right now, you are a strong performer, but you're not yet a top performer. A strong performer is someone who does a good job at what they do. They are always on time with what they do. They're well relied upon by their boss, but they're not being seen as the top person in the team. And that's simply because they don't have these other qualities that we're going to talk about that will help them to get to that next level. And so what you're having to really focus on now is, how do I get from strong performer to top performer? And so I'm going to share with you 8 key traits that top performers have that you can start to instill within yourself that hopefully will enhance your chances of getting promoted. So the first trait that top performers have is that they look to help others all the time. A top performer is really someone that is not just wanting to put their head down and only work on their own tasks. A true top performer is someone that is always willing to really help those around him or her. So people on your team, people above you, your bosses, their bosses. If there's ever an opportunity to help, then a top performer is willing and ready to do that. Now, what this doesn't mean is that you say yes to everything and you help everyone with everything and you can't ever get to your own work. No. Top performers know how to prioritize. So what that means is you look at the task or the project or the duty in terms of how important it is and how beneficial it'll be to the overall team and the company. If it's something that is high priority, it's going to have a great impact for the team and for the company, then definitely raise your hand and offer to help, because that's going to provide an opportunity for you to become someone who is seen as going above and beyond what you normally do, the regular work tasks that you're assigned to. And then what happens is eventually people start coming to you more for your guidance, for your help, and you're offered new and exciting projects to do because you've already demonstrated that you were able to do that well in the past. Second trait that top performers have is that they know the difference between being serious and professional. If you're a strong performer who really just wants to go into work and get your work done, I get it. It totally makes sense. You want to just focus on what you're doing and you want to shut out the rest of the world beyond your cubicle. And what you also probably feel is that, all the friendly interaction, the banter between colleagues can be a bit of a time waster, so you try to minimize that as much as possible. What happens there, however, is that without even realizing it, you're creating this invisible barrier between you and your colleagues, and over time you start to appear overly serious, and this actually makes you seem less approachable by your colleagues and even by your bosses. Even though they know that you're a hard worker, you seem to be very much a lone wolf, and you just want to do your own thing. And that doesn't really help your case when it comes to trying to move up to the next level, trying to be the leader of the team, because what it really involves is that you need to be beyond being serious, you need to move into being professional. And what professional is that, of course, you're still going to have those conversations with your colleagues. You're not going to appear to them that it's a waste of time talking to them, because people can read that energy if you give off that vibe that, oh my God, I'm wasting time talking to you. You don't want that to occur. Instead, to be professional, it just simply means you interact with your colleagues when the time is right, but when it's time to get back to it, you gently let them know, I got to really get this done. I'm just going to go back to getting this done. And that's it. It creates a nice, smooth transition for you to be able to exit that conversation and then head back to your work. So really it comes down to how you interact with your colleagues. It's really important to maintain that open, friendly demeanor, but at the same time showcase your ability to demonstrate boundaries. They'll still see you as someone who's warm and friendly, approachable, but at the same time they see you as someone who's hardworking. So implementing this mindset of being professional versus serious will really get you further along in your career in the long run. Number 3, top performers are flexible and eager, but they're not doormats. When you first start a new job, there are no buts and there are no no's. You take on the duties and tasks and projects that you're assigned and you work through them. You try to finish them efficiently within the timeline that you were given or before the timeline, and you work as hard as you can to make sure that you set a good first impression, especially on the very first few projects that you're given, but of course throughout as well. But what happens though is that even though you're flexible and eager, you're not a doormat. You're not saying yes to absolutely everything and then only slowly working through each of them. What a doormat is basically is someone who has the mindset of, sure, yes, they can't say no. Yes, I'll do this. Yes, I'll do that. They take on whatever duties and tasks are given to them, and instead of prioritizing, they just do them in the order that they're given. If you're a doormat, a lot of the time, if you're not prioritizing and you're a doormat just saying yes, you're overwhelming yourself and you're drowning yourself in assignments that probably aren't as important and probably aren't your role, aren't part of what you're meant to do. So essentially what it is that you have to be flexible and eager, but at the same time, you have to know how to establish priorities. And if somebody is offering you to perform a task, offering you a job or a duty to work on, what you do have to do is identify what is your highest priorities, and if you know that within that given day you can only do X, Y, Z, well then you inform them of that and you say, I'll be happy to help you with this, but right now I'm working on these items and these are the most priority for whoever your boss is, and once I'm able to get that done, I'll be able to help you out with this. So being a good top performer just means that you know how to be transparent about your priorities and you know how to communicate it in a way where the other person that's asking you to work on something doesn't feel like they're being outright refused. Trait number 4, they execute more than they talk. Even though at the beginning I said that hard work does not mean automatic promotion, it's still a key ingredient that will help you to enhance your chances of getting promoted. Especially at the beginning of a new job, you want to prove yourself, you want to demonstrate your value to your team and your company, and so it's important that you put in that hard work to getting you in that realm of potentially being promoted. Eventually, once you're able to execute enough and show enough results that you truly are strong potential for that next level, that's when you can open your mouth and start articulating how you've been able to do that, or why you're an asset for this organization, and be able to use that as leverage to getting you that promotion, getting you that salary bump, or that bonus, that raise, whatever it is that you're looking for. And trait number 5 for top performers, they say only what needs to be said. Even though I said a top performer executes more than they speak, they're not mute. They just simply know when to talk and the right time and place to do it. So, for example, a key approach that I know has worked for me and works for my clients is whenever you're in a team meeting in your company and your manager or director or VP, whoever, decides to ask everyone on the team for their individual opinion about something, don't be the first person to blurt out the answer. Instead, sit back and wait for each of your teammates to give their answers. Some people probably will want to blurt and share their opinion and sound all great and fancy, and just let them do that. What will happen then is once they're all done, the table will be turned onto you and it's going to be your turn to speak. By that point, you're at an advantage because you would have heard everyone's specific opinion. And what you're going to be able to do is to be able to come up with an answer, an opinion that is mindful of everyone else's, so you can include some of what other people have said, showing that you've listened intently. But then on top of that, you're able to give an opinion that is genuine, authentic to what you feel about the topic, but also might be something that, well, it is going to be something that other people didn't think about, because you already heard about everybody's opinions. You already heard what they all said. So you can add in a unique factor, unique detail that maybe wasn't mentioned. And then from there, what happens is that sets you apart from everyone else. You're not just stating the obvious. You're stating what's been said. You're acknowledging that, but you're going above and beyond and sharing something also a little bit more unique. So it shows that you're able to give a very insightful response, and it gives you this calm, collected, confident vibe. Trait number 6, they get their work done before the deadline. The mindset of a top performer is simple. Get your work done as efficiently as possible. Unlike the average performer, they're not driven by deadlines. They're not driven by pressure. Instead, they're driven by the intention to deliver high quality work as quickly as they can. That's the mindset of a top performer. Now, I know this isn't always possible, but if it is, you should try to implement this new strategy of working where you're going to be delivering high quality work, but you're trying to do it in as short a time frame as possible. Because trust me, this will be appreciated and remembered by those who matter. And it will enable you opportunities to move up in your career if that's what you're looking for. Trait number 7, they avoid office gossip. People who gossip in offices seem to think that nobody knows that they do the gossiping. But in most companies, or the majority of people know who the major gossipers are. And trust me, if you want to be a top performer, you do not want to be in that group. In general, top performers don't spend very much time with these gossipers because they're such at different levels mindset-wise that they don't have much in common. They don't have much to share. It doesn't mean that you should be rude to the people who gossip. It just simply means, you keep a safe distance away. It's all about establishing the right, healthy, friendly boundaries with one another, but making sure that you don't stoop down to that level of being someone who gossips about everyone else in the office. And finally, trait number 8, top performers are constantly training and updating their knowledge and skills. A lot of the strong performers that I know tend to be really good at what they do, but that's about it. They stick with what they know because they're afraid of change. And unfortunately, that's not going to help you to move forward in your career if you only know what you know and you're not willing to learn new skills or advance your abilities or advance your knowledge in any way. And so what happens is, for a traditional, just strong performer, they're good at what they do, but anytime that something new comes along, they feel overwhelmed. They just don't know how to handle it. As opposed to top performers who already have a growth mindset and know that there's always room to improve, there's always room to learn new things, and they actively seek out ways to improve themselves and to learn different approaches. And as long as you start to develop that mindset within yourself to want to constantly grow and improve yourself, then it's going to be seen by your bosses and the people around you that you truly are someone who grows over time. And so it's only natural that you're going to eventually grow into the next level as well. So there you have it.
Thank you, Linda, for your insight. Your videos are really, really very inspiring. So there you have it. You are more or less understand what your mindset is and how the mindset should be changed. And I want to add that if you crushed it your first few years on the job, a bump in pay will be a no-brainer. So I just have to say to yourself, just to add some things up, get clear expectations from your boss. And when you do that, the key to being a star performer at any stage in your career, make the boss happy. Sit down with your manager and set specific goals for yourself. Say, I want to hit the ground running and exceed your expectations. What can I do? And express that you would like to connect quarterly to review your performance. And then you need to document your achievements. Your boss probably isn't tracking your every accomplishment. So keep a log of your quantifiable accomplishments. That way you have a concrete result to cite when you ask for a promotion. And I would say it is called probably a strategic bragging. You have to toot your own horn in order to be heard in the sea of cubicles. Okay, and I really do recommend that, because if you don't brag to the right people, not to your colleagues, but to the right people, your colleagues are not going to promote you. You have to be very professional with your colleagues, but when you go to your boss and you meet with him, brag about yourself. Brag about how good you are, what you have done to the company, how it had improved and how it had progressed. It all needs to be said. They don't have time to track 100 or 300 employees to see who did what. Even though you are an employee of the month, it doesn't matter. You still have to brag about it. Okay? And then cozy up to HR. Now, a friend in HR may be your ticket to nabbing a promotion, and having an informant in HR who can tell you about job openings gives you an advantage over your peers. And take the person to lunch to start building rapport. Once you have established a relationship, your confidant may even be able to tip you off about promotion opportunities in other departments. HR has a pulse on what's happening across the organization. And then push beyond job description. Once you have proven yourself capable of delivering great work, ask your manager to take on more responsibility. But be specific by asking to work on particular tasks or projects. You want to take on a stretch assignments or job that give you a trial run at the promotion you are eyeing. And I heard there's going to be a new product line. How can I get involved with that? That's what you can say. And requesting specific work also shows initiative. Don't put the unos on your boss to find you new responsibilities. And then prove you're a leader. While your boss wants to see you're a team player, you still need to distinguish yourself from your peers. Like Linda said, you have to be professional and not how did she say it? Friendly. Too much friendly. So individuals get promoted, not the teams. So I will just tell you that even if there is not an assigned leader, assume that role. But be the one who makes the final presentation. Be the one who updates the boss. So let's say the assistant manager is now resigned and it takes time to replace that position. Assume the position as though you are an assistant manager and start taking the role up. Start leading your team. Start making the job done. Start reporting to the manager even though it is not your job. Do that. And then the manager will see you are actually ready for the position. Now, and then update your boss about everything that you are doing. Not about your team, but about yourself. Then, it sounds basic, but many employees expect their boss to hand them a promotion. Like Linda said it. Now, however, if you don't ask, you shall not receive. Like I said it before. And of course, the possibility that you won't get promoted even if you do all the above, right? Whatever I said right now, all the tips and advice for this past 43 minutes. There may be circumstances outside your control. The company could freeze raises, your boss quits, or one of your peers gets tapped for the job. If it's the latter, find out why you were passed over, but keep the focus on you. Say, what could I have done differently so that would have been me? Then use the feedback to improve your performance and position yourself for promotion in the coming year. Then find that promotion somewhere else. If you have been killing it at work, but there is still no pay raise or title change in sight, you might have to cut your losses. Many times, actually more than not, a promotion is easier to attain at the new job than at your current employer. I've seen countless candidates make the leap from $85,000 a year at their current employer to an associate to $120,000 a year as an associate director with their new one. And making a move could bring more than salary bump. There is often signing a bonus, new title, more responsibility, and leadership roles that come with a promotion. So keep proving yourself to your boss, but if you feel stuck for too long, it might be time to revamp your resume and start looking for a new job. Now, I have to emphasize, perhaps you might think that you don't have at your current job any experience in management, any experience in directorship, any experience in leadership. Well, you are wrong. Don't think like that. And I've said it to several of my clients. If you want a management position, highlight all the skills that the manager is doing. The title, you can change it. It doesn't have to be the same title. You're not lying about it. You're being true to it. One, I will just explain to you. As an office manager, for example, right? You have an office manager position. In a different company, it's not called office manager. It's called administrative manager, executive administration. This is the title that they are using. They never use office manager. At your current job, they use office manager, but not administrative executive. So you can tweak it in your resume and write administrative executive at your current company, because that's what they are following. You have to follow their tune. You have to follow their roles. You can't really just assume, okay, this is the title I have, it's set in stone. It's not set in stone. If you are an office manager and you're lying that you are a director that's something else. That's already a lie, because you're not a director, you are an office manager. So if you are changing it to administrative executive or whatever title they have, then you can tweak it, but the responsibilities have to align with what you did. So if you have done all the leadership skills, you have trained new employees, you have set orientations, you had set the scheduling, the payroll, and whatever the position is required, then you can highlight all of these skills and put it in your resume. This has worked several times, and when you do a demo of your job, then this what you're showing. You're showing your problem solutions, decision making, your leadership skills, time management, your now it's a big deal, multitasking. You have to know how to multitask under pressure. Doesn't matter if every manager goes through pressure. If you don't go through pressure, then you are not a manager. So really, there is a way to revamp your resume. If you're a skeptic, you've never done it, and you feel the need to do so, contact me on Facebook, Let's Talk Careers with Sara, and I will get back to you. Message me. Write me a message stating I need your help with revamping my resume. I can guide you through. You can do it yourself, or you can hire me and I'll do it for you. So this is what it needs to be done. And then remember, once you're doing that resume, you need that cover letter also that needs to align that with that. You can go to my previous shows on my Facebook page, Let's Do Careers with Sara, and you can see some of the shows that I've talked about how to write the resume. So you can get some of my tips and advice there, or I'll be talking about it in the future as well. Then I want to also emphasize that when you walk the walk and you are specific about the title you want, build your case. Be ready to talk to your boss about how your job duties differ from your official job description. Better yet, show how they align with the duties in the higher title. And check your emotions at the door and simply state the facts for why you deserve the promotion, quantifying your accomplishments as much as possible. And it will be hard for your boss to disagree if you're giving the facts and figures to back up what you are asking for. And then prepare to hear no. If your boss denies your request, stay professional and ask what specific milestones you need to achieve in order to grant the title change. And don't take it personally. If the answer is no, continue to hustle and make an impression to prove you're a valuable employee. And the title change will come. But be prepared to look elsewhere. And if you're not getting that job title promotion at your current job, like I said before, the natural next step is to take your search outside your company, which is often the best strategy for success because a new title frequently comes with a new role. So even if you aren't sure you're ready for that next step, see what's out there, and if the title and salary bump your angling for can be found elsewhere. And I just want to advise you, there's numerous jobs out there, so I'm sure 100% that you will get the job. It depends if it's going to be faster, slower, at your own pace, or whatever, but you will definitely get the job. You just have to show how serious you are. You show it to yourself, not just for the managers. I am running out of time, so that will be another topic we'll discuss in my show, perhaps next Wednesday. And I would like to say thank you for those who are listening to me. Thank you so much for doing your homework, by listening to experts like me about jobs, about resumes, and about how to be happy in a work environment. So I really want to say thank you again. So I'm going to see you next Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Armed Radio. Let's Talk Careers with Sara. You are tuning in on Armed Radio and Let's Talk Careers with Sara every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. I talk about careers and job hunting. If you would like to ask a question or would like to hear about previous shows that you have missed, you can find me on Facebook at Let's Talk Careers with Sara. You can learn about jobs, tips, and advice on my page. If you have a career-related question, you can just message me on Facebook.